After their final moments together, the family steps back for the director to close the casket. The director beckons to his assistant to come forward and to arrange the floral display to enable the director to close and seal the casket, which he does with painstaking care and in the presence of the entire family group.
Come to me, please. All these years fall through the cracks, and now this perfect view on the outside, both sides win. Drink to me, babe, then think of me, babe, then.
Funerals are the third most expensive thing you're going to buy. The first is the house, the second is the car, and the third is the funeral.
My cold guess is that the burial industry is kind of like the insurance industry.
Are we rip-off artists? Are we in it for the money?
There are a lot of legal reasons why you have to participate in it.
It's not all doom and gloom.
You could dig your own hole, have somebody dig it for you.
The ashes can be sent and they land on the moon, and then there's also Earth orbit.
It's changed quite a bit, and you have to change with it, so we're all sort of running to catch up.
The funeral coach chauffeur prepares the side-loading coach for perfect horizontal removal of the casket by using the automatic leveling device. He simply moves the direction control lever, pushes the switch, and the mechanism is in operation. Release of the switch locks the device in position.
For, let's say, a big guy who's got lots of edema in the bottom legs, died of a heart attack, maybe he's been sitting for a couple days, you definitely want to use a strong solution. This is Intrafiant. It is carcinogenic, so it is cancer causing, so I wouldn't want to drink it. We'll make a little 1-inch incision just above the collarbone, and then I use these two instruments to tear away at any tissue. We use these eye caps to make sure that the eye stays closed. It's a misconception a lot of the times. People think that we sew the eyes shut. No, they're just kind of closed, and these little picky things holds the eyelid down. Okay? We do either sew the mouth shut or pin it shut, I guess is another name for it, using a wire clamp. Okay? When we're done, the body should have some kind of inner cosmetic coloring, so any kind of like pink or tan color. Their tissue should begin to start feeling firm, and they should have no odor. If you have to excise something like a big growth or something, then you definitely need to use more cosmetics. Or accident victims, if there's any kind of bangs or bruises or cuts or anything, then most definitely you have to use a lot of cosmetics. But from just any normal case, I definitely, sometimes I don't even put makeup on people because they have such great coloring. A properly embalmed body should last decades, intact, not meaning that you're not going to get some kind of dehydration because it's very drying. I'm definitely going to be embalmed. Yeah, I'm staying away from cremation. That thing scares me. Lay down your soul forever. Lay your visions down.
I really find the idea of embalming super distasteful. Spend my whole life trying to avoid interacting with chemicals. And I think it would be really ironic to be pumped full of them at the last word.
When you're holding up the bottle, like I've had it leak down my arm before, and it burns. Like you have a big black scab the next day.
Ideally, I'd love to be buried in a rural setting, a wilderness setting. That would make me really happy.
The basic idea of a green burial is a return to nature. A body that is not embalmed, that is put into a biodegradable casket of some kind and buried with using a tree instead of a stone as a memorial. The end result becomes sort of a sacred forest as opposed to a cemetery of tombstones.
At this point in time, we don't have a truly green burial at this point. We do have a Jewish cemetery portion of our cemetery. I don't think they believe in embalming there either.
The first graves would be in this area here. Next to this natural area is the seed bank, so that stuff can spread out. People ultimately become fertilizer, for lack of a better term.
There's nothing in the laws surrounding cemeteries or funeral services that requires either a casket, a liner, or embalming. First thing to do is to come to us for a licensing as a cemetery operator, and that includes, in most cases, the deposit of $100,000 into a care and maintenance fund for perpetual care and maintenance of the property.
The proper maintenance of a woodland burial ground or a natural burial ground is in fact to allow it to regenerate, is in fact to let it go.
People want to know where dead people have been buried. People want to know where their family member is. They don't want to have any confusion about who is buried where.
They're going to have these issues. They're going to find that this type of burial might be perceived to be some sort of a pauper's grave. They couldn't afford a proper burial, so they did this. You know what, it is a statement of values. If you could go into a cemetery, you see these huge monolithic structures. And what that was somebody saying, you know what, this is what was important to me. You know, I came to this country as an immigrant, I had nothing, I built an empire. And when I died, I wanted everyone to know that I was successful, and that's valid. In my life, I want to be able to say, there's one thing that I can do, and that's not to contribute to what I see as a very unpleasant land use. I would love it to have people picnicking in my forest.
I would like there to be nice food, and I hope I die in the summer or spring.
In the UK, they've got 10%. If 10% of the people in Canada or in the United States said, yes, I'm interested in doing this, and here's my money, this would develop extremely quickly.
It would be neat if everyone who was there threw some earth in.
And the big players would be the first ones to jump on it.
That would be nice, yeah.
My friend Bonnie died, I guess about 9 years ago. In fact, it was April, so 9 years ago in the spring. She died of cancer, and she died too young. She was in her 40s. Bonnie was a very vivacious, outspoken, wonderful woman, loud in a lot of ways, in ways that we loved and her friends remember very fondly. Bonnie planned her own funeral, and she knew it was going to be just a really great party, and she was so pissed off that she wasn't going to be there, and that's something I remember very clearly. she loved to throw parties, and she loved to be in control of how those events went, and here she was going to throw a party and wasn't going to be there. When we walked in the door, there were crocus bulbs for everybody, a little bag of crocus bulbs. And we were supposed to plant them in our gardens. And it was made clear during the funeral, I can't remember, somebody read this message from Bonnie that she was going to come back as a blue jay, and she was going to visit us in our gardens. And that stayed with me so much. And whenever I see a blue jay, and you know blue jays are very loud and outgoing kind of birds, I think about Bonnie.
Immediately thereafter, he pronounces the benediction, pays his respects to the family members, and then awaits at the foot of the grave until the director has ushered all members of the family to their limousine.
When you die, your body does not have a lot of shelf life, let's say. It expires pretty quickly, and you've got to deal with it if you have special plans.
Because nobody ever wants to talk about it. Okay, I go home and I talk about it with my mom, and she tells me to shut up, you know. Don't talk about that, I'm not ready for that yet. Nobody is ever ready for it.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of people saying, well, I'm just going to put it in my will, that what I want done. Unfortunately, wills aren't usually read until long after the person is cremated or buried, so it doesn't do much good.
After the director seats the family in their car, he pauses for a final word with them. He assures them that he will remain for the final closing of the grave. He bids them farewell, and he then returns and makes certain that the remaining details of interment are completed.